Hello again. So we are back with some more news right now. This one just posted by the CNBC. It's about 5 hours ago. This article just entails the people behind the AI. So obviously you have employees who are trying to make AI, and so this just talks about what they're going through right now. Obviously they're calling it a rat race, which is, in all fairness, is true. It is a rat race. And what they're saying is that the engineers at top tech companies are being pressured to roll out AI tools at breakneck speed, and it has become a staple of their new jobs. The intense pressure, the long hours. Now, this is nothing new. Tech has always had quite insane hours, but for them to come out and say that it's much worse than before, I would say is really quite something. They're also saying that much of the work is designed to appease investors. Again, nothing new, but if they're coming out and saying it, means it's much worse than what it was before. They're saying that rather than solve problems for the end users, it's just appeasing the top investors, which we can clearly see. Obviously, there's no regard for user safety, things like that. Here, burnout is becoming an increasingly common phenomenon among them. It doesn't say here, but with burnout, it means that they're pushing well beyond their normal function. So, of course, they're using drugs, things like cocaine, things like or whatever improves their workflow function. If athletes are enhanced, so to be anyone working at the top of their field and whatever they're doing, it's just not, obviously, probably not testosterone. It's just things that are going to give them energy to keep going, and then maybe shorten their lifespan. But obviously, to get through this, they're using it two things at a time. They're using it for two functions at the same time. One, to get rid of the pressure, which doesn't really get rid of it. You're just coping with drugs, but at the same time also giving them enough energy to just work through the night, because they're pulling all-nighters just to deal with this. A large amount of this AI is actually just human beings doing things like it's been before. It's just that now, obviously, they're trying to get funding because not everything works. Okay, they've said that all of these different things are trying to, not everything works in the way it's intended to. So it's kind of like Apple in the beginning. Some of the computers, when they unveiled it, didn't work at all. But they needed investors, they needed customers, they needed consumers. So of course they unveiled it, and then each problem they encountered, they fixed it along the way. Same thing with tech. They're overextending themselves as to what's going on, what they can do about it, and then they're trying to backfill slowly, hoping it catches up. A large amount of the stuff requires like really expensive, state-of-the-art servers, chips that's specifically designed for AI, and so, of course, it's just they're meeting each criteria as they can with just a huge amount of bodies of people, as a resource. Don't be fooled. So quite a bit of it is actual AI. Yes, it works, but it's built on the backs of people who are like working day and night to solve each problem until it can be rectified. Just as any new emerging tech came out before, like smartphones, it had quite a few problems in the beginning. Everyone complained about lag and all the other stuff and camera quality. It was great at the time, and then it started showing all these different things, and so you had a new version come out. Same thing like what you're saying now. It's just with AI, and then obviously they'll just throw as many people at it as they can. They don't really care if people die anyway. They don't care if people burn out. This company, they just get another college student who just finished to come in because there is plenty of supply. Or even what they're doing right now is, as you can see, there's quite a few job openings, but they're not really hiring. So what they do is they go through an interview process that forces you to do certain lines of code. Sometimes it's 4 hours. There's one of my friends did a 5-hour exam for a company. He still didn't get through, and there was 8 rounds of testing. What they were doing actually was they were forcing him to complete the coding that they were working on, and so they had each applicant for the job complete a little bit of the coding, and then the project was just finished afterwards. That way they don't have to pay anyone, and they can just say, hey, they failed their whatever inspection they were doing. But that's not the end of it. Obviously, there's multiple companies. So there's another company that's I'm sure you've heard of, Snapchat AI, or Snapchat, and then they have an AI function, and it's built upon ChatGPT. So this is an article by CNN. When grief and AI collide, people are communicating with the dead. This was not the intended purpose, but obviously, if something exists, people will take full advantage of it. So here, Snapchat AI, artificial intelligence chatbot, you can customize the AI to look like anyone you wish, for it to say whatever you want it to say, or at least just feed it a bunch of information, and it'll spit back in the designated personality. Here, the Snapchat My AI feature, which is what it's called, which is powered, of course, by ChatGPT. Users are using it to recreate the likeness of and communicate with the dead. How do we know this? Because they have multiple people come through and tell them what they're using it for. One woman, her husband who's now dead, was a chef, and she fed it a whole bunch of information on him, his messages, and also just made it look like him. And so whenever she now goes grocery shopping, she asks it questions, it messages back as if it was him. She says that it makes her feel like he's right there with her. It's of course creepy, but I mean, this is what people are using it for. In all honesty, it's gonna have unintended consequences. People are just gonna have AI, obviously girlfriends and boyfriends. But I mean, we were heading there anyway. People are paying for that online service anyway. So, but I think it's just gonna get a whole lot worse, especially with drug use and all the other stuff. I mean, in the end, it just comes down to perception. So, perception altering drugs, along with things that take you out of reality. So, if you want to invest in something, maybe put it into some VR companies. I'm just kidding. You probably shouldn't put money into any stocks right now. Things are quite volatile at the moment, especially with Bitcoin. So maybe just take care of yourselves and do your research for investing into anything, especially tech. I'm not sure if you guys realize this, but Meta itself has had some issues. So recently, someone who's really far ahead in the game of stock trading and selling shorts has said that Meta is really nowhere near its valuation, and it's primed to crash. So if that's what he's intending, he made a lot of money in the 2008 housing crisis, and he's talking about Meta AI. So maybe look up on it, see if that's something you'd like to get into. Do your research first, of course, that's always important, and then yeah, go from there. But who knows, it might like go through the stratosphere. Maybe they were just holding on to things before they just unveil something, and then it just takes off, because a lot of people were saying the same thing about, I believe, Tesla, before it just skyrocketed. But yeah, that's the news for right now. We have communication with the quote-unquote dead, and engineers who are feeling the pinch of just being in the most intense industry right now. I mean, you're talking about an industry that's involved in every business, and every business wants a piece of it, so that you can say that they're, you know, they have AI in their company. And even if it's terrible, they don't really care. I mean, let's say, for example, this is a terrible AI. They want a terrible AI because a human being that it replaces, even if this is worse than that human being, it's still cheaper than a person being there, because it's running 24/7. Of course, I know you guys have seen about the fake tech being outsourced to India. Even if that is a cover for the tech stuff, they're still choosing cheaper labor and online tech to deal with stuff versus whatever person is in your country. They just find that that's a whole lot better. They'd rather pay pennies on the dollar to this person, and they can have them work 24/7. They just have two people taking your shift, and they pay them less than a quarter altogether of what you were paying. They can just work 12 hours in the morning, 12 hours in the evening. That covers your basis for the entire business model until the AI does catch up, maybe in like the next 2 years or something, and then they'll just cut those guys loose also. But what you're seeing is just a whole lot of outsourcing that's happening, but it's not as intended. They're saying, okay, they're outsourcing. Or, well, they're not saying that. We just discovered that they're outsourcing, and it just blew a lid on what they were doing. But they weren't hiring in the first place in that foreign country. They already had these people on standby. They prepared for this. So they knew what they were going to do. They had the entire plan in motion. Okay, they're going to go, oh yeah, we have this AI tech stuff. But they planned it in advance. They already had their branches ready. So if you think, like, let's say you're in a foreign country, you're going to get a job here, it doesn't exist because it's already full, because they hired well in advance. So where all of that funding came from is where all the money went to. They had already probably a large sum of the budget dedicated to foreign countries, third world countries that they could get cheap labor from, and then pull it out from there while their technology in the meantime does catch up. That's if it does catch up. And if it doesn't, it's okay. They're still saving money because they're offering that service, and then it's cheaper labor, which is, the goal anyway for these companies itself. But yeah, you're going to see a lot more vacancies pop up that are just nonsensical. They don't exist because maybe they're forced to by law to have the vacancy for that company, but that doesn't mean they're forced to hire anyone. Okay, and so they can just keep having the companies run on its last legs, just a 2-man crew, a 3-man skeleton crew doing the overworked completely, and just have people overseas fill in the gaps here and there. Like you're going to start seeing with some of the fast food companies that are a huge indicator of what's going on. I mean, they're right front and center of how to do things, and it's also just about saving money for them. So obviously they want to be front and center of tech to say, hey, this is McDonald's tech, or whatever, they're integrating this and this, and then it's a double exposure. Those companies are hand in hand with the tech companies, so it's like they both contribute to each other. You have people who are getting obese from these tech companies, from these fast food places, and then they're using the tech also, and it's like a constant cycle. And so obviously those two companies are together. They're going to be the first in line to integrate whatever that's going on, whatever new technology is there. For example, the digital menus, the digital ordering platforms, the apps that you see now. These apps that you have that's so commonplace now, it wasn't here like 20 years ago. So obviously next decade, you're going to see a whole new thing start to happen. Maybe no employees in terms of fast food, just only consumers, which is kind of the plan that they want. They want just only consumers, no, just the top 1% owning the entire business, no employees, and then the entirety of the rest of the globe just gives them all of their resources, which you can just see is their current plan. As far as anything else is concerned, obviously you have all these different fronts of war that's going on, and it's not the best. It's not the best for our generation, but it is what it is. You just keep going, keep grinding, keep living your life. Don't wait for anything, especially not on some kind of job to just come through. I mean, if you want to keep applying, just start your own thing immediately, whatever it is that you're interested in, and go from there. Right now, as you can see, things are just getting more crazy with the AI. You can't even go to college for a few years and then come out and expect to have a job in this tech field, which was such a rich field. Just a few years ago, you would be fine. Now, it's not at all. A few years ago, it was still crazy, but you could at least get something somewhere. You could at least be freelanced, for these private companies. Now, it's not the same. But yeah, I will keep you guys updated with some more stuff that's going on. There's always new information, so I'll just be posting an update quite soon. Okay, see you guys.